There's something happening in West Africa, something big, something powerful. And it's got the world watching, but not with celebration, not with encouragement, no, with worry, with quiet calculation, with the kind of silence that hides fear. The United States and the European Union, the so-called defenders of freedom and justice, have suddenly gone quiet when it comes to West Africa. They aren't celebrating the victories of African nations standing up. They aren't applauding the courage of young leaders fighting for their people. Instead, they're watching, closely, quietly, nervously. Why? What exactly are they so afraid of? The answer, my brothers and sisters, is that Africa is finally waking up. And when Africa wakes up, the whole world trembles. For centuries, the West has shaped the African story. They colonized, they exploited, they dictated. But now something extraordinary is happening. A new generation of African leaders is standing up, boldly and unapologetically, reclaiming the narrative, rewriting the future. Men like Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso are rising not as puppets of the West, but as true sons of Africa, speaking truth to power, taking back control, and putting the interests of the people above the interests of foreign investors. This is the kind of leadership the West never wanted to see, because for the first time in a long time, they don't control the chessboard, they don't control the players, and they're afraid of the outcome. For too long, they've used their influence to keep Africa weak, divided, dependent, desperate. But now African countries are rejecting that role. They are saying no to foreign military bases, no to one-sided trade deals, no to economic slavery. They are choosing self-reliance, dignity, and unity. And that is terrifying to the old powers who built their wealth on African backs. They know that when African nations unite, when they reclaim their resources, when they educate and empower their youth, they will no longer need the West, and that is what scares them the most. Let's not be fooled by the silence. Let's not be distracted by the propaganda. The US and EU are not quiet because they don't care. They are quiet because they are calculating, watching, planning. They are using their media to shape a false narrative. They call our heroes dictators. They call our independence movements dangerous. But it's all strategy. It's all part of the same old game. They use sanctions instead of soldiers. They use headlines instead of bombs. They use fear instead of facts. But we see through it now. The African people are not asleep. The youth are awake, alert, and alive with purpose. They are building businesses, starting movements, creating technologies, and demanding justice. And the world is watching because this time, they can't stop us. Not with lies, not with threats, not with money. This time, the African spirit is too strong, the fire too bright. From Mali to Burkina Faso, from Guinea to Niger, the drumbeats of freedom are echoing across the continent. And no amount of foreign interference can silence that sound. The West fears unity because they ruled us through division. They fear pride because they controlled us through shame. They fear strength because they manipulated us through weakness. But now we know who we are. We know what we have. We have gold, oil, uranium, culture, history, and most of all, we have each other. The US and EU are quietly watching West Africa, not because we are chaotic, but because we are becoming powerful. Not because we are failing, but because we are rising. The world is changing, and Africa is no longer asking for permission. We are taking back what is ours, our land, our future, our dignity. The new leaders are not afraid to speak out. They are not afraid to stand alone. And because of that, the people are beginning to believe again. Believe in a future that belongs to us. Believe in a continent that feeds, protects, and uplifts its children. Believe in a revolution of the mind, the heart, and the soul. If you are hearing these words and your heart is pounding, if you feel the fire of Africa burning in your chest, then this message is for you. This is your call to rise wherever you are. If you are in the diaspora, America, Europe, Asia, know that your voice matters too. The US and EU fear the connection between Africans at home and abroad. They fear that we will share knowledge, share wealth, share purpose, that we will unite across oceans and borders, because united we are unstoppable. United we are unbreakable. United we are the nightmare of every empire that ever tried to conquer our spirit. This is not just about politics. This is about identity. This is about power. This is about waking up after centuries of sleep and saying, no more. No more begging. No more stealing. No more lies. No more exploitation. Africa is no longer a victim. Africa is a force. And that's why the world is watching in silence, because they can feel the ground shaking. They can hear the roar of a billion voices, and they know the time of domination is ending, and the age of African liberation has begun. If you believe in this message, if you feel the pride of your ancestors, then hit that like button. Drop a comment that says, Africa will rise, and don't forget to subscribe. We must tell our stories. We must support our leaders. We must educate our children, because no one else will build Africa for us. We are the builders. We are the defenders. We are the generation that will finally finish what our ancestors started. From the ashes of colonization, we rise. From the pain of slavery, we rise. From the silence of oppression, we rise. And the world will witness it, not through their filtered lenses, but through our eyes, our voices, our truth. So share this video far and wide. Let it echo in the hearts of every African child. Let it inspire courage in every village, every city, every country. Let it remind the world that Africa is not to be watched in silence. Africa is to be respected in strength. Our time is now. They may try to silence our voices, but they cannot silence our heartbeat. The heartbeat of Africa is louder than their weapons, stronger than their influence, and more enduring than their lies. It is the rhythm of our ancestors, the strength in our blood, the voice in our soul. It is the reason we still stand, the reason we still rise, the reason no empire has ever been able to erase us completely. They burned our villages, but they could not burn our spirit. They stole our children, but they could not steal our pride. They changed our names, but they could never change our identity. And now, as we rise again with clarity and conviction, they know the old games will not work anymore. The fear they planted has become fire. The shame they sowed has become strength. The divisions they spread are now turning into unity. Across West Africa, a wind is blowing. A wind of bold decisions, unapologetic speeches, and fearless resistance. A wind led by men and women who refuse to bow, soldiers who refuse to sell out, youth who refuse to settle. That wind carries the voice of leaders like Captain Ibrahim Traoré, not just a soldier, but a symbol, not just a president, but a brother to the people. He speaks what millions feel. He acts when others hesitate. And because of that, he inspires not only Burkina Faso, but an entire continent. And that's what terrifies them, because inspiration cannot be killed. It spreads, it ignites, it becomes unstoppable. The US and EU understand this. They understand that the more Africans believe in their own power, the less power the West will have. So they watch in silence. But we hear them. We hear the whisper of their fear in every headline they write, in every nation they impose, in every diplomat they recall. But let them whisper, because we are no longer waiting for approval. We are no longer seeking validation. We know our worth. We know our value. We know what Africa brings to the table, and we're tired of being served last. Now we bring our own table. We set it with dignity. And if the world won't offer us a seat, we will stand tall and speak louder than ever before. We are not rising to beg. We are rising to build. To build an Africa where every child eats, where every youth dreams, where every village has light, water, and hope. An Africa where the resources under our feet benefit the people who walk on that land. An Africa where decisions are made in the interest of the people, not in foreign boardrooms. The future is not something we are waiting for. The future is something we are creating right now with our voices, our votes, our visions, and we must not stop. This is our moment. This is the battle of truth versus propaganda, of justice versus greed, of people versus profit. And we must win, not just for ourselves, but for every African who died in silence, hoping for a day like this. For every elder who told us, one day you will understand what they did to us. For every freedom fighter who never saw independence, but died believing it was possible. Now it's possible. Now it's here. And now it is our duty to protect it. Don't let them distract you. Don't let them divide you. Don't let them convince you that you are powerless. Because you are not. You are the revolution. You are the resistance. You are the reason they're afraid. Every time you share this truth, every time you raise your voice, every time you remind someone that Africa is not poor, just stolen, you are part of the movement. You are rewriting the story. And make no mistake, the world is reading it. The world is watching. The question is, what will they see? Will they see a divided people still chasing crumbs? Or will they see a united people standing with their heads held high? Will they see a continent still in chains? Or will they see a continent rising like a lion from centuries of sleep? That choice is ours. That choice is now. And we choose to rise. We choose to unite. We choose to fight, not with violence, but with vision. Not with hate, but with hope. We choose Africa. We choose Africa, not as a continent to be pitied, but as a power to be respected. We choose Africa not as a land of poverty, but as a cradle of wealth, wisdom, and warriors. We choose Africa because it is ours, our roots, our blood, our legacy, and our future. And now the world must watch as we reclaim what has always been ours. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them whisper behind closed doors. Let them hold emergency meetings and write anxious reports. Because while they watch, we build. While they analyze, we organize. While they spy, we rise. We are not alone anymore. From the deserts of Mali to the forests of Congo, from the coasts of Ghana to the rivers of Nigeria, the drums are beating. The youth are waking. The elders are speaking, and the people are listening. This is the generation that will not bow. This is the generation that will not forget. This is the generation that will not be bought. Our flags are rising higher, our voices are growing louder, and our hearts are beating stronger. This is the rebirth of African pride, the rebirth of African power, and yes, the rebirth of African destiny. We are not waiting for the future to come to us. We are becoming the future, and no empire, no superpower, no foreign agenda can stop what has already begun. So to every African child who has been told to dream smaller, dream bigger. To every African mother who has cried for justice, hold on. To every African father who sacrificed for a better tomorrow, stand tall, because that tomorrow is today. That dream is now, and that hope is real. If you believe in this message, hit the like button, comment below with Africa will rise, and share this video with your friends, your family, your followers. Let this message reach every corner of the world. Let it be heard in every village, every city, every diaspora, because we are not just making videos, we are making history. This is more than content. It is a call to rise, a call to unite, a call to remember who we are. And now, as we close this message, let these final words burn into your soul, never to be forgotten, never to be erased. Let them echo not just in your ears, but in your blood, because this is not just a line, it is a prophecy, a vow, a truth. Africa is not watching anymore. Africa is rising, and the world will never be the same again.